Fortnite has had its fair share of really bad metas. For example, Chapter 1, Season 5, we saw the spray meta, but it has also had its fair share of really enjoyable metas, and that's what we're going to take a deep dive into today. Guys, today we're going to look at some of Fortnite's best and most fun metas, just those metas that are not only competitively viable, but also a really enjoyable time. So with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. In case you don't know, a meta is essentially just the most useful and essentially the most effective way to get kills or get a victory royale, right? It's basically just the best strategy out there to win a game or just get kills. So with that being cleared up, let's get right into double pump from Fortnite's first chapter, the first couple seasons. I think when you think of the word meta in terms of Fortnite, you really think about double pump. So there's going to be no surprise to anybody that this is on the list. And to be honest with you, this is probably Fortnite's strongest meta of all time. And for those of you who are newer to the Fortnite scene and never got to experience this, it was absolutely unreal. This is the pump shotgun like we never saw it today. This is the pump shotgun that was doing 150, 160, 170 from 20 meters away. It was just that strong. Now, of course, you have the delay, and that delay is between shotguns, right? You shoot a shotgun, you pull the next one out, you're not going to be able to shoot it for a second or so. But that delay was put into place, of course, because of double pump. Double pump was so insanely strong, but also so insanely fun, depending on who you ask, of course. I really don't have much to say. It was overpowered, it was strong, and of course, it got patched, and we haven't really seen double pump since. Of course, we've seen some workarounds in newer seasons, but there's never been anything quite like the OG Fortnite double pump, and so that's all I have to say about it. It is absolutely one of Fortnite's best metas of all time. Next, I want to talk about Chapter 2 Season 1's meta, because I think that this is a season that goes kind of forgotten, and deservedly so, actually. It was very boring, slow. We had one update for, I believe it was 3 or 4 months, and that was the harpoon gun. That's it, right? But the loot pool and meta this season was fantastic, and of course, simpler isn't always better in terms of Fortnite, but in this case, it absolutely was. And it was just that time where you had your basic M16, SCAR, pump, tac, regular SMG, regular sniper, regular heals, that's it. This was probably the most tame loot pool we ever saw, at least since the OG seasons of Fortnite from like 2 or 3, before they started to add some really crazy items. Of course, you also had floppers and slurpfish at their peak, which was 50 health and 50 shield, so I know a lot of people really enjoyed that, but I think just the simplicity of this and not having 7 different of each weapon type, it was very basic. It was just your AR, normal pump shotgun, and your normal SMG, and that's it. And I don't think a lot of people really complained about that. I just think it got a little bit stale after a while. But after seeing some of the absolute hectic, crazy loot pools we've seen, I kind of missed the Chapter 2 Season 1 meta for sure. And speaking of the polar opposite of a calm season, let's go to Chapter 2 Season 4 and talk about the Stark Industries pump shotgun meta. By the way, if somebody counts the amount of times that I say meta in this video, I will actually pin the first comment to do so, because it's going to be a lot. And this meta, though, sticks out for a couple of reasons. One, this was the first time the pump came back since Chapter 2 Season 2. If you remember, they vaulted the pump shotgun for the charge shotgun in Chapter 2 Season 3. So everybody was really excited to have the pump and use the pump, right? And we also saw the addition of the Stark Industries rifle, which was a really unique new type of weapon at the time. You had a really fast fire rate from the hip, but as soon as you aimed down sights, you had heavy hitting, slow fire rates, but very minimal bloom, if any. If your crosshairs were on your target, you were going to hit them for big damage, right? And I think a lot of players, and especially competitive players, really enjoyed using the Stark Industries rifle. And of course, they really enjoyed using the pump shotgun, so when these two were combined, it was a really fun, strong combo. And of course, my mind just goes right to Mongrel in this season, players like that who just made this meta famous, just running around, running and gunning people with the Stark Industries rifle, which could be used as an AR or an SMG up close, and then the pump shotgun. Of course, you also had really good mobility this season, which really helped, right? So you could just shockwave into somebody's box, you could use Silver Surfer's board, all that stuff. It was a really good meta. And while I will say, besides this kind of pool of weapons, this season was absolutely hectic and absolutely crazy, the Stark Industries rifle pump shotgun meta was one of my favorites of all time, and definitely one of the best Fortnite metas of all time. Next, let's take a travel all the way back again to Chapter 1 of Fortnite, and let's talk about the deagle pump meta. The deagle pump is kind of interesting and kind of nuanced in terms of history. I've talked about the deagle a little bit in some other videos, but the deagle was actually not how you newer players know it today. The deagle was buffed for a very short period of time before it got tuned down, where it would one-shot walls like, as you guys know, the heavy sniper does. And so you had basically a pocket heavy sniper in that way, right? So you had people just running up to walls, deagling the wall, either jumping into the box with a pump or just taking the wall. Shoot the wall, take it, edit, do whatever you gotta do. And I think the deagle is just such a beloved weapon and honestly so fun to use that I don't think many people are gonna complain about this entry. The deagle one-shotting walls was so fun, and of course, like I just mentioned, the deagle as itself was fun, and then compare it with the pump, a lot of people really love deagle pump as a combo together. And this combo just essentially ransacked Fortnite for a couple weeks. I don't remember exactly how long it was before it got patched. Somebody can correct me in the comments below, but it was extremely strong and extremely fun. So that's why it gets this entrance on my list for some of Fortnite's best metas of all time. Next, let's talk about Chapter 4 Season 2's Kinetic Blade and Havoc Pump Shotgun. If you guys didn't see my video on revisiting some of Fortnite's best seasons of all time, go check that out because I talk a lot about this combo in specific, and Chapter 4 Season 2 as a whole just had such a great feel, such a great meta, and such a great loot pool. Of course, the Kinetic Blade and Havoc Shotgun stick out for a couple of reasons. One, the Kinetic Blade is one of the best forms of mobility of all time, and the Havoc Shotgun is one of the best, if not the best shotgun of all time. So when you combine those two together in the same season, you're going to have a really fun time. But people also utilized ODM gear, which was in this season. So if you combine ODM gear and the pump shotgun, or all three together, so fun. The ability to basically just teleport anywhere you wanted on the map in an instant, just go building to building on Mega City, was really cool. And I genuinely think a lot of people do miss the Kinetic Blade Havoc Pump Shotgun combo. While I will say this meta is one of those metas that essentially is dominated by the competitive players, and for some people that might be a good thing, right? It rewards skill. If you're good, people are going to know you're very good with it. But for some people, that is not a great thing, because I think a lot of people found this meta to be kind of overwhelming and kind of, you found yourself getting stomped a lot of the time. But all in all, I do think that this meta is one of the best of all time, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of arguing about that. Next, let's go back to a season that I think a lot of people forgot, and that is Chapter 3 Season 1. Chapter 3 Season 1, in my opinion, is one of the best Fortnite seasons of all time. I know it didn't make my video of some of the best seasons, but it was right on the fringe. This was a very good season. But the meta this season was even better. You had the MK7 assault rifle, which in my opinion is one of the best guns of all time. Pair that with the striker pump shotgun, which is basically just a reskin of the pump, the Stinger SMG, which was extremely strong, and one of the best mythics of all time, the Spider-Man mythic. The Spider-Man web shooters, I could make a whole video about how good of a mobility item they truly were. And while yes, there are multiple weapons in this loophole that were absolutely busted, aka the MK7 and the Stinger SMG, you can't deny that this was a good meta in Fortnite. The ability to not only beam whoever you wanted to at long range, but then also have the strength and power at close range, and then also have one of the best mobility items of all time was super fun. Also, let's talk about heals. Med Mist, come on, like one of the best heals of all time. I think that just this loophole in general kind of reminds me of Chapter 2 Season 1, just simplified, nothing really crazy out of this world. Like, it was just a simple, good, fun time. My only complaint with this meta is that I feel like the Spider-Man mythics got very annoying once people started to get good with them, and so that meant that people were just dipping out of fights, able to maneuver better, and so in my opinion that was the only thing that was annoying. But I guess you could say the same thing about other mobility items like the katana, for example. Let's keep this rolling with, in my opinion, my favorite meta in Fortnite history. That is going to be the Chapter 4 Season 1 Thunder Shotgun Shockwave Hammer meta. I forgot to mention in Chapter 4 Season 2 just the power of augments and how you could utilize augments to combine with these metas, for example, Aerialist with the Kinetic Blade, to make them even better. And we saw some of that here with the Shockwave Hammer. There were a lot of really good augments that you could pair with the Shockwave Hammer to make this a really good combo. And it really was, again, just like Chapter 2 Season 1, just like Chapter 3 Season 1, Chapter 4 Season 1, again, was simple and didn't have anything really crazy minus the Shockwave Hammer. It was absolutely insane, and in my opinion, one of the most fun items we've ever seen in Fortnite. I know it was fun, I know it was buggy, I know it was overpowered sometimes, and it had to get nerfed multiple times, but the Shockwave Hammer, combined with, in my opinion, one of the best shotguns and most fun shotguns of all time, that being the Thunder Shotgun, pair that with the Red Eye Assault Rifle, the Twin Mag SMG, it was just such an enjoyable time in Fortnite. I think this loot pool as a whole was really underrated and forgotten. But even if you just want to focus in on the shotgun and Shockwave Hammer, you could get into anybody's box you wanted to and then pull out one of the best shotguns of all time. In my opinion, this is a forgotten about meta, but one of the best of all time. One of my favorite metas has to go to the Recon Scanner Railgun meta. The Recon Scanner was such a cool item. If you guys don't know, you would just basically shoot this big projectile orb, and anything that would be caught inside of its radius would be marked, right? Like you were shaking down somebody. And of course, this became insanely overpowered when you paired it with a weapon that could literally shoot through walls, that being the railgun. If I ever end up making a video about weapons that need to come back, I would 100% vote the railgun into that video. The railgun is one of my favorite weapons of all time, just because of how much it changed the way people play the game. You couldn't just sit in a box and hide, you were going to get shot through your wall. And I know that's kind of controversial, but for me, I really enjoyed it. And then combining that really strong sniper rifle with the already really good Recon Scanner was a recipe for so much fun. I think Chapter 2 Season 7 as a whole is really underrated and really good. Another one of those seasons that is one of my favorite of all time. And I just look back so fondly onto this combo. I think this meta, though, deserves a spot on this list. It was fun, and it did take some skill, right? You had to land the Recon Scanner and then again land the railgun shot. So while it might have been a little bit broken, I understand why you wouldn't like it. I personally think it's one of the best of all time. And that's it, guys. That is my list for some of Fortnite's best and most fun metas of all time. Let me know if I missed anything. I'm sure I absolutely missed a couple obvious ones, so let me know in the comments below which ones I missed. Let me know if you guys would like to see a part 2 to this weapon or some of Fortnite's worst metas. I could also do that. Also, let me know if you prefer the longer videos or the shorter videos. But with that all being said, guys, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.